What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. Want to get into some boxing right quick. The most talked about fight that will never happen is starting to seem. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Let's get into it. This has the potential to be the biggest fight since Floyd fought Manny Pacquiao. The reason being has nothing to do with the pay-per-view buys it's going to make and the popularity of the fighters, because there's something to be questioned there in terms of if we're going to compare it, say, to the most recent fights of what we just saw in April with Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. That was a popularity match. Tank was a little more proven than Ryan, but they weren't on the same level skill-wise, and everybody knew that going in. It was more, was Tank going to sleep on Ryan or not? And if you go back to, say, Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G, both times he fought him, that drew in big numbers as far as the gate, what they made at the gate, and pay-per-view buys. But Manny versus Floyd not only broke records from a money standpoint, but it also was the two best fighters quite possibly going against each other, even though they weren't quite in their prime anymore, which was the only thing that kind of made that fight kind of lose its luster. They were both still great, and both, if you want to say out of their prime, they were both out of their prime. So it was something good to see. But Errol versus Terence Crawford, both of these guys right now are in their prime, considered two of the top 5 boxers in the world pound for pound on pretty much everybody who knows about boxing's list of top fighters in the world. Styles make fights, and this would be a great fight to see because both of them don't give up for nothing. They got the heart of a champion. They are champions. You got a guy like Terence Crawford that is a multi-divisional champion. He went undisputed, went overseas and won his first belt at 140 pounds, and then went on to win the rest of the belts and become undisputed. Then came up to 147 and also won the WBO belt. And he's been holding that for a while. He's knocked out 12 of his last 13 opponents, if I'm not mistaken. Undefeated. A lot of people think he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. He's got that dog in him. The only knock you can give is his fights don't necessarily sell as much. You could say that has something to do with him, maybe his promotional teams at times. But regardless, that's the only knock. Errol Spence, one of the more popular, probably top 5 most popular fighters in the world right now, also top 5 pound for pound, is completely proven. Hall of Fame resume just like Terence Crawford. Errol Spence has fought future Hall of Famers like Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson. He's put a lot of names on his resume, or on his belt, as he would say, that have got him to the point where his record and his level of opponents is just unquestioned. So if these two got together, one in Terence Crawford, who is a guy who can switch from southpaw to orthodox, very slick, with power, high IQ, versus a guy like Errol Spence, who comes at you with a high volume, a high work rate, excellent athlete. He is a southpaw with a vicious jab and throws a lot of punches and likes to put pressure on his fighters and break them down. Sometimes he starts up top. They call him the body snatcher for a reason, because sometimes he breaks you down from the body. To see this fight, there's no way to really call who's going to win. Everybody's going to have their pick on who's going to win the fight, but we really don't know. It's truly a 50-50 fight. So why isn't it happening? It's only one of a few reasons I can personally think of. So of the few reasons I can think of, I would say, let's start with the fighters. They're ducking each other for some reason. They really don't want this fight. It's all just a ruse. They are just hyping up the fans with everything going on social media between the two of them and all the reports. If that's the case, then everything I said about these guys being champs, being proven, having the heart of a champion, that ain't there. They suckers, and I refuse to believe that. I don't think these guys are suckers. I don't think these guys are ducking each other. I think they want this rep, and they want to prove that they the best. Another reason could be it's about the money. Maybe they're not truly scared to fight each other, but somebody's being a little too greedy. Errol's supposed to be the A side. Maybe he thinks he's more the A side than Terence Crawford thinks he should be. Maybe he's asking for too much of the split. Although reports say Terence was willing to take what the PBC offered. If that's true, who knows? In my opinion, at this point, because we need this fight to happen ASAP, it should be a 50-50 fight with the split if that's what it needs to be. But if Terence is willing to take 45 or 40% or whatever it is that gives Errol more to split, let's make it happen. And if they are letting that get in the way, shame on them for the fans to be able to see this, because they can make a lot of money moving forward, especially if this happens more than once. The more glaring reason is the promoters. Are the promoters getting too caught up in the A side and the B side and who deserves more? Is PBC or whoever Terence is going to go with, are they making this too much about the split and who should be controlling everything that has to go with organizing and coordinating this fight? If that's the case, shame on the promoters. Now, the evidence points toward that being the case. The promoters are trying to get their cut, trying to get their split, trying to get their money for their fighters, and because of that, we're about to miss out on one of the best fights of all time. And these guys, this fight will go down in history. This is a great year for boxing because there's so many good fights that have already happened and they're going to happen as this year plays out. And this fight should be headlining it. And if the promoters are getting in the way, I challenge y'all to the promoters to get this done, preferably this summer, so maybe it can happen again at the end of the year or at the beginning of next year, or when they move up to 154, 155, where they both claim they're going to go next anyway. But we need the first undisputed 4-belt champion in the history of boxing in the welterweight division to happen, and we need it to be Terence Crawford or Errol Spence. We need to have it happen because that's how elite these guys are and that's how special they are, and this would do immense things for the sport of boxing from a popularity standpoint. For those that might not even know about these guys, to see these guys lay it all on the line is what we need in boxing. So promoters, don't hold this up. Get the job done. Fighters, put pressure on them dudes. Let's get it popping, make it happen. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is and you know what you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit the bell. Go at me in the comments. You know I'm on YouTube, Instagram, at The Vault, JMU414 on Twitter. And of course, what's up, TikTok? Holla at y'all next time.